Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Between Knits and Pearls. I'm your co-host, Stephanie, coming to you from the great state of Kentucky.
And I am Emily, your other co-host, known as Andersmillknits, coming from the almost cool state of Alaska. I mean, we're really cool as far as, dude, we're dope. But
Temperature-wise,
I'm sporting my, I always get the name wrong, a Julius top.
I don't know, but it's gorgeous.
I'll put it in the thing. Wait,
It's
hold on.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yes. And it's by Knits.
Yes.
It's
a beautiful, like, tunic style tank, but then it has lace at the bottom. Yep. Very flattering, very pretty.
I posted on Instagram this morning that I'm wearing it.
Yeah, super cute.
I gotta get rid of this back fat. I'm just saying. It's not very complimentary. But everybody wanted to know that.
Right? So thank you all for joining us today. I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Farmsteadknits, and Emily is Andersmillknits.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yep.
Yes, everywhere. Yep. And if you would like to get in touch with us, you can email us at BetweenKnitsandPurls@gmail.com. We have a very active, thanks to Stephanie, Instagram account, also known as Between Knits and Purls.
Yes.
And we just finished up I need to go grab my thing. My Merry Everything and Happy in July. I gotta go grab my scrappy blanket.
Yay! Yes, that was super fun. And for those of you guys who are looking to participate in our next swap, we will have what is our 24 days of cheer. And 24 days of cheer is the same idea. We do kind of an advent as a countdown through the holidays. You will get a swap partner assigned to you. If you go over to the Ravelry Group, Between Knits and Pearls, and you put your information down, we'll be happy to get you guys hooked up with a partner. If you are not on Instagram, that's not your choice, or excuse me, if you are not on Ravelry and you would still like to participate in 24 Days of Cheer, just send us an email and we'll be happy to do it that way too. So we don't want to exclude anybody in the fun, really, of getting a swap partner and getting to do all the good stuff. So that will be coming, I want to say October 1st, we will probably put out signups for 24 Days of Cheer.
So on that note, you're going to have to do that because I'm not getting back from my honeymoon until the 2nd.
Yes. I will be happy to do that for y'all.
But this, my friends, is my bowl. So my swap partner gifted me this bowl.
Yep.
And it was perfect for like the 4th of July. And it's so, I'm losing it. See, it's so overfilled because I have 2 partners. So so I got so there's how many days in July? 30 or 31?
There's 31. So you got 30 mini skeins, and then on the 31st, you could open your big one.
Right. So I got 60 mini skeins. Yeah. And 2 large. Yes. But of course, that also meant that I sent out 60 mini skeins. And
Correct. Well. And we've been knitting, Kay from the Bakery Bear podcast, we have been knitting her jelly roll blanket.
Yes. And I haven't touched mine since I got home from camping.
I haven't either, and I'll tell you guys why coming up. But I'm only like 5 or 6 skinny minis behind. Oh my gosh! I only have like 5 or 6 left from my swap partner that I need to put in. But I'm doing a sample knit that I'll show you guys. So I got to get that done first. But then I will get back to my every morning, just a little bit of me time and putting them in there. So
I have to show. This is not showing as vibrant. This is my favorite mini.
That's beautiful.
I didn't weigh it, but I feel like this is a larger mini than
That's
the
gorgeous.
most of my minis that they sent me, I feel like were bigger than our.
I do that too, especially like if I'm just winding and setting it on my scale and winding, oh, it's a little over. Oh, well,
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah.
But just a reminder, none of this was purchased. We
Nope.
asked. I'm losing everything.
Sorry.
It's a little
Economical swap.
Yes. And that's why we like it. So we
Yes.
really, and it's the same for the 24 days of cheer. So we really hope people join us for that.
Yeah.
We have a guest that's coming on that I hope she's listening because, if she does, I might finagle so that she's my partner. I'm just saying.
I don't know about you, but I just keep seeing all the Christmas yarn coming and I'm overwhelmed.
You have a problem.
I have a problem. I just, it's so much fun. And I have little kids who still think Santa comes and all that kind of good stuff. So it's so much fun and enjoyment for our family. And so, yeah, Christmas is fun for us. We relish it, all month long.
Yep. I need a little one so that I could have that kind of joy.
Hey.
Everybody cross your fingers and toes. Emily is now 40. She still needs a baby, okay? Let's make this happen in 2021.
Not only that, but you know what? I am a huge proponent of adoption. We have so many friends of ours who have adopted, and just because that baby was not born in your body does not mean that baby was not created in your heart. So
yes,
it's always a valuable option.
I completely agree. I am very much for adopting, and especially even though it's a lot harder, and I have a sister who's going through this right now. She's a foster parent, and she has successfully adopted one and is trying really hard to complete the process for adopting the other.
Yeah.
But it's not for the faint of heart. Like, no. I don't know. My sister, she doesn't appear to have a backbone of steel. Like, when you look at her, she looks like she's so fragile and cute and almost like a little fairy. Mm-hmm. And then you run up against her and, oh my gosh, you will not walk out of there standing. I'm just saying. So
all different ways to love on kids, right?
Yes, exactly. Anyway, okay, so Stephanie, what has been happening in the past 2 weeks?
So it's been getting warmer here where we live. So we have been in the pool a considerable amount. My girls get in, they splash, we're enjoying it. For those of you that don't know, we bought a 12-foot round pool for the backyard. It's like 4 feet tall. It's been perfect for us. We have enjoyed it. We have loved it. My husband and I jump in with the kids. They don't care. So we've been doing that. My garden's been growing crazy. I just yesterday put up my first batch of tomatoes. I canned those.
That looks so gorgeous and yummy.
Well, it was so pretty too because I did persimmon persimmon tomatoes this year, which are the color of a persimmon. So it's that beautiful deep orange. So I combined those with my red tomatoes. So in the jar, it's just all different colors. So it's really been fun. But I had enough to do a fair amount of, I think I did 6 or 8 pints. I don't remember. Either way, got the first batch done with that. We've had okra. My zucchini are actually done. It has gotten so hot. Went through that. So I will probably plant here, if not this weekend, then the following weekend, all of our fall plants. So another round of green beans, another round of lettuces. And so as it starts to get cold, all of those fall plants will do really good. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I have to ask a question. I know you like educate me every time we talk about this, but so now I need to know about okra because I don't get that plant. Like, what in the world do you use? That's so the one that looks sort of like, almost like it's a jalapeno, right? Am I thinking?
So it grows off of what I would consider like a cane. It's one stem and then it has branches of leaves that go out, but it's very open and airy. And then you get this beautiful yellow with a very rich, almost purple center flower. that comes out. And once that flower is done, it twists off and pops off. And what you're left with is then the growth of the seed pod, which is the okra.
Oh.
Yes, it's it's a weird, wonky looking plant. It's actually very pretty. The flowers are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so I have I probably have 10 or 12 in my back section. And they'll get very tall, very like sunflower tall.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we've been doing that. And depending on how you eat it, I think people either like it or they don't. It's people a lot of times say, "Ooh, it's slimy." There is a mucus like layer to it. We pick them fresh and then I cut them up like zucchini coins, and I put them immediately into a cast iron pan with toasted sesame oil and both sides till they're browned, and they're almost crunchy. There is no sliminess to them whatsoever.
Oh, and so wait, so then what do you do when because didn't you just say you're preserving some of them too?
I don't preserve them. That's when they get that slimy, not so goodness. At least that was my experience in regards to that. So that's when we just do fresh eating and call it good.
And what do you serve it with?
So I'll do it just as if it were a green bean, a salad, side of broccoli. So we'll just do that. We'll toast a bunch of them up, and like we'll have pork chops, and we'll have, my kids call them haystack potatoes. It's a stacked potato slice that you layer with Parmesan cheese, and you stick it in a muffin cup, like in a muffin tin, and they all just meld together. So they're called haystacks. I'll send you the recipe. It is so easy and so good.
Oh my gosh, that sounds delicious.
So that's what actually dinner is tonight. Dinner is pork chops, haystacks, and some grilled okra.
Oh, well then.
Yes.
I'll be over about 5.
Okay, I'll have it on the table for you.
Yeah, got to get a plane ticket and all that, but you know.
But other than that, that's about it. We're about ready to go pick up our half a beef and our half of a pork, put it in the freezer for the next year cycle, and do it again.
Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah. That's so exciting. Yeah. But do you have to actually, so they give you literally a half, or do they process it so you actually have like, steak or bacon?
Right. So we we purchase a half a beef and a half a hog. Typically we do it through FFA Kids so that we're supporting our local Future Farmers of America. Things have not been easy to come by this year for obvious reason. So I just went through a local farmer instead this year because a lot of the fairs didn't happen or the show kids weren't able to sell their animals for whatever reason. But still supporting a local farmer. So I call him and I say, hey, I want half a beef, half a hog. He has a processor that he uses. And so we get all the different cuts that we want. So when we go pick it up this weekend, everything will be shrink wrapped. It'll have a label, a date. This is what this cut is. We typically get to pick a lot of what we want. But it is a fraction of the cost when you do whole animal purchase versus going to the grocery store. So let's say you went to the grocery store and you pay between 6 and 7 pounds for ground beef. My steaks and my sirloins are $3 to $4 a pound for sirloin.
Whoa.
Because I'm paying a hanging weight price versus this is ground beef, this is a steak, this is a New York steak, which I can charge $12 a pound for. All of mine are the same across the board.
Wow.
It is worth the investment if you have the money up front to do that. So.
And how long do these last you?
We will, for a family of 4, I have 2 little ones, so they're probably an adult portion together. So 3 adult portions. We will eat a whole year's worth, maybe 10 months to a year on a half a beef and a half a pork.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really exciting to think about. So I hope people are listening because this is something that used to be very common to do.
Yes.
But now we think, oh, I'll go to Kroger, Fred Meyer's, Safeway.
And I just ran across something very interesting. Do you know that grocery stores are less than 100 years old? The idea of grocery stores. And
Really?
so before that, you did go to a butcher, you did go to a meat processor, you did go to your local farmer and you purchased that. And I think there's this huge movement towards modern day homesteading, which my husband and I do a lot of,
Yeah.
um, in procuring your own food security. Now, we're not
Mm-hmm.
going crazy. We're not prepping for whatever. We have 2 freezers in our garage, and I go shopping in my canning pantry, in my bulk supply of flour, oats, grains, sugars, all those types of things. And now we do the same thing for probably the last 4 or 5 years, for our meat supply as well too.
Yeah.
So
And so I can imagine grocery shopping, like weekly grocery shopping for you looks very different for the rest than the rest of us.
yeah,
You know, I like that idea. I got to
gotta
get
do
out of
what
this
fits you
freaking
best.
condo. Yes. Yes.
How about
I
your last 2 weeks in review?
Well, it's been fun and stressful. Why do I always say that? I always say that.
You have a high stress job, my dear,
I do. I do.
but it's
So
good.
the fun part was as soon as after like within half an hour of us recording our live stream on my birthday, Jeremy and
Yes.
I, or Mr. Radio, had hit the road and we were going out camping, and we were out of cell service for 2.5 to 3 days.
Yeah.
And I did my, I guess we'll call it, to be politically correct, birthday cleanse.
Okay, that's a good one.
I called it like a self baptism, so I don't mean to offend anybody with that term,
A
but
birthday polar dip.
yes. And we camped out at a glacier fed lake called Kenai Lake. It's very frigid. Um, Nobody else. I never saw a single other camper
Oh,
actually even dip their toes in the water. I was the only one who did this. So other people were kayaking. And I say other people, this is a very underknown, or like not
pretty
known thing.
secluded, I would imagine.
Yeah. And so when I say other people, I think there was probably maybe 10 other campers.
Oh,
And
wow, that's
the
nice.
campground is actually really big, but like there was just 10 other campers. Like we never saw, I mean, we talked to the camp host quite a lot. They were a great couple. But anyway, okay.
Nice.
So I went into the Kenai Lake and I dove, or I just let myself fall backwards into it. It was very cold. I posted it on my Instagram stories. Of like saying when we got back into cell service, I was like, no body shaming, please, because boy howdy did I
It
feel
had to have been
uncomfortable.
cold. It had to have been
Yeah.
cold. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did love it so much. I didn't share this part of the video. I did love it so much that I went back in for a second dive. Only on the second dive, I couldn't find my footing. So then I tripped as I was, or I don't know exactly how you call it, when I was coming back up, fell back down. So technically I had a third dive and I bonked my knee, bruised my kneecap, and scraped my knee.
Oh, no.
And the whole, like when we went hiking and stuff, like I was just like, oh, this is horrible.
Oh, that's awful.
Yep. But
Oh,
we got me a brand new Harvesting Wildflowers book on the way down.
I saw that on your post. That
Yes.
looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of book than I had ever seen before, because normally my reference books for wildflower hunting and mushroom hunting, very short descriptions.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a picture. Most often they just have a little drawing.
Sure.
This one, she gives when to harvest them, like what time of day and what part of the season, what part of the plant to harvest. She gives you
Wow.
recipes for doing things like um, infused vinegar or
Tea with the
tea.
mushrooms. Yeah.
Yep, or salves, and gives you
Nice.
all of the information as to, well, probably not all, but a lot of information as to what they're good for. And so Jeremy and I went hunting, and we were trying to be very responsible harvesters. So we only harvested Labrador tea, which is very good
Ooh.
for things like inflammation and urinary
Yeah.
tract and everything like that. So, because everything else, we just felt like we were too uncomfortable. There wasn't enough of the plant around for us
Sure.
to feel comfortable harvesting.
Yeah.
Labrador tea, though, grows like a weed, so that's what we harvested.
That
So,
sounds awesome.
yes. And then other than that, been working. You guys see my posts when I do my mental
Yeah.
health first aid classes. This week I started a brand new curriculum at work that I've created for motivational interviewing.
Mhm.
And one of my I don't know what we call them, I guess coworkers, as I was ending my last class yesterday, or for the week anyway, we were walking out and my coworker turned to me. He's just like, I love your trainings. I mean, it's like going to a drama class. You can never sit and just zone out. Emily, you always make me do stuff, and then you make me do role plays, and that I'm never able to just relax. I'm always on my toes. And I said, good.
Well, that's a great compliment to your skills.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I try to inject a whole bunch of humor into it so that it's not just like,
Yeah. Who wants to sit through another boring meeting, right?
yes,
Yeah. Good for
exactly.
you.
So yeah, so that made me feel really, really good because this curriculum I created is pretty intense as far as like every single week I'm giving out homework assignments.
Mm,
And I tell them like, they get a journal for the year, and I tell them I'm not going to read your journal, but I'm going to be checking it every single time we meet.
sure. Sure.
And in the past, all my trainings have been once a month, 2 hours long. And if you email me that you're here, I count you as here. You don't have to take a test or anything like that.
But it's probably better with the interaction. That way you know that they're getting the curriculum and they're receptive to it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Good for you.
Yep. But then but other than that, I've just been watching a lot of the Olympics and knitting a
Yeah.
bunch on things that we'll talk about later because we want to get our guest in here.
We have a fantastic guest today, guys. Emily, take it away.
So, this guest, I'm going to share a video before she comes on, but this guest I found on Instagram randomly, I don't know, 10 months ago, maybe less. And I was captivated because she had shown a reel on Instagram, and it was so body positive, so fun. And she was just like, she just glowed off the screen. And I just immediately was like, I have to know who this person is.
Yes.
And so I hunted her down and followed her. And then I started bombarding her with messages. And, we've been chit-chatting ever since. And so who this is I will actually, first I'll show the video and then I'll actually officially.
Yeah, because the reels are super cute.
Yes. So hold on, folks. Let me get it up here. Share screen. Well, I guess I'm sharing my screen. And then... Okay, I'll make it big. There we go. Can you see it big on the screen? Because I can't see you guys anymore.
Yep, I can see it.
All right, so here we go. So,
P.S. I love that she's in her wedding dress. Can I just say that? I mean, come on.
I know, right? So that, my friend, I said she looked like a mermaid in her wedding dress with that. That is Jen of the Perfect Stitch Fibre Company.
Yes.
I always want to say studio, but it's company. And so why don't we bring her on so she can introduce herself even better?
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, you're so cute. Oh my. First, thank you for having me on. I'm Jen of the Perfect Stitch Fibre Company, and oh my goodness, I have someone who's apparently wanting to try and say hi. Do you want to say hi?
Does somebody want to say hi?
Say hi.
Hi.
That's my oldest. Sorry, he kept coming in, and I'm like, well, I'm not on. Anyway, yeah. So I started doing those reels, and I had to do the wedding dress because, I mean, it's just sitting in my closet. What else are you supposed to? I could box it up, I guess, but I mean, really,
Right?
I mean, what do we do with our wedding dresses afterwards? I mean,
Mine's in the closet.
And then the cost that you spend on it too. It's like, okay, you spend how much? I mean, sometimes you can get awesome deals. Yeah.
Mine,
But,
$32,
right?
baby.
And I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, mine was gifted to me, which I'm very grateful for.
Oh, that's awesome.
But like, it just chills in my closet, and I'm like, I gotta do something with it. So I was like, I'm gonna wear it. And then a friend of mine, and she's like, I should see if you can wear mine, and then you can use it. I was like, that's not a terrible idea. I love that idea. Just, I don't know. I like the idea of like, we're gonna do ball gowns.
Yes.
I just think it's amazing. And for those of you watching, I think it's the same wig is on the on the mannequin behind you, right?
Yep.
Yep. So she brings it all the time.
It's Karen. It's one of my Karen wigs.
You are so
Your
cute.
Karen wigs?
Yes. Okay, so I had this idea, like when the pandemic started. I had this idea, like, oh, or maybe before that, a little before. I had the idea of, oh, well, I need workers, so it's not just me. But obviously, as a small business, you don't have that. So I was like, well, I ordered some wigs. So I have Karen, who she started out as a yarn thief. And so she would come in.
I remember that when she would come in and she would steal off your rack. Yes.
Yes. And people seem to really like that. Well, some people got concerned because then they're like, oh, wait, somebody's actually stealing from you. I'm like, no. It's just a joke. The yarn is still here. But like, I could see that where I'm like, and I really wanted to like, I don't know, I wanted to bring something fun and entertaining. And so that was kind of one way to do it without having like employees. So then I'm like, okay, I have Karen, and then I have Linda, who that's with the blonde wig and the glasses.
Yeah.
And she's just supposed to be that really like, I don't even know how to explain.
Over the top,
where Karen is the exact opposite. Like, I don't want to be here. Why am I here?
I love it. Yeah. So, okay, how long does it take you to create a reel or a TikTok? Because I just can't imagine the amount of effort that goes into those things.
So it kind of depends on if I have an idea in my head. Like sometimes I could spend like all afternoon going through different TikToks just trying to come up with something. And other times an idea has already popped into my head. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then I'll figure out like what song or sound I want to do.
That's awesome.
And then I have to get in costume sometimes. And so then if I get in costume, then I have to like put my hair back because wigs don't have to. You can't just have your hair down.
Yeah.
But and I specifically would order additional wigs like with the idea of, oh, maybe I'll come up with another character. But Karen seems to be the one that just she switches it up. And I really like it. I don't know, when I was growing up, I was in dance. I don't know if you can tell from that. But so performance is it was kind of my way of like, we're gonna perform in these and it'll be fun.
Yeah. You're very natural and like you just grab me. I think yours are probably one of the few reels that I always watch. And I just realized as you were talking that you put them on TikTok. So I got to find you on TikTok because that is a black hole.
I know, it really is. I started them on TikTok because I didn't have access to the music.
Mm-hmm.
So the sounds that I wanted to use, I couldn't. I'm like, well, then I'm just going to do it on TikTok and then I can save it and upload it on Instagram. They don't like that. as a company, but
Yeah.
you know, then I have it on both places too. So I'm like,
Yes, and I love them. Okay. So now that I fangirled about your reels, um, so who are you, and what is that wall of lusciousness behind you?
the wall of yarn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay, so I am the Perfect Stitch Fiber Company. I have been around for almost 5 years. That's a long time. My goodness. Um, it's it's interesting because um, my son is 5, right? So my youngest is 5. He was born in May. In June of the same year that he was born, my friend gifted me for my birthday. She gifted me dyes and some bear yarn, and I started dyeing. Oh my goodness! And then I was like, "Don't hate me," but I'm pretty sure that I love dyeing more than I love knitting, which I mean is crazy. I know it's crazy because I was knitting, like I would knit all day, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, I'm spending all this time dyeing yarn," and I ordered more dyes, I ordered more yarn. And then I was like, okay, I need to do something because I can't just have yarn in my house because it's just going to sit here and look pretty, which is fine. But if I want to like be able to keep doing this, I need to do something with it. And so, right, like it was kind of one of those. I'm like, I should probably try and start a business so my husband will let me continue this hobby of mine. And so that's, I mean, it took a few months until I was like officially like, okay, I'm going to do this. But I think it was the end of October, sometime around there, that I like launched it, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't know. I impressed myself because like I was driving sales from Instagram because I was on Etsy at that time. Now I'm on my own website. I think it took me like 6 months before I was like, you know what? I'm driving my own customers anyway. So I was like, I'll just have my own website.
Yeah.
And it's been great just because I get to dye yarn, and I also get to stay home with my kids. So it's like, you know, it works well, especially with
I
like
think it's amazing.
the pandemic. 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah.
I had
Well,
to stay home. Yeah.
right.
So you had to homeschool too.
Yeah. So I know
Okay.
there was like a slight lull in my Instagram for a while because I was like, oh gosh, we get to homeschool. Great fun.
Are they going back to regular
Right.
school this month?
They actually so yes, they're going back at the end of August.
Okay.
But they had actually gone back. Um, when was it? They'd been doing half days, and then starting, I think in like December or so, or January, they started doing half days. So they would go 4 days a week. Wednesdays they would clean the rooms, but in April, I think, end of April, middle of April. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my timeline straight because my husband went to Somalia in April and he was gone the whole month, and so it was kind of one of those like it's a light because I got to send my oldest. Are you gonna say hi?
Hi.
They'll just keep doing that. They like to be in my TikToks too. I know you've seen some of them.
Mommies are everything. Whatever mommy's doing, we have to be a part of.
Yeah.
So true.
they yeah. And then their daddy went to take a test, so I'm like, can't even like distract them.
Yep.
It's just
You know.
craziness, but that's life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love doing this and
Yes.
because it kind of gives me that flexibility.
Well, I was gonna ask, do they even help you in the studio, or is that only mommy
Oh my
time?
goodness. So they're not technically allowed in this room. but I dye in my kitchen, and so it's.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the oldest, he has helped dye. I think he did some soft fling. I'm trying to remember. I might still have some that are in the shop, but he's dyed some of those, and he always wants to. But a lot of times I'm like, no, I need to do this, and I'm trying to do it quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, so do you remember the very first yarn colorway that you put up on Etsy for
Ooh,
sale?
good question.
Pop quiz.
So I want to say it was. I want to say it was a Farmsteadknits cupcake.
Ooh.
Ooh, just the name. Oh my gosh.
This one is the Oreo version. The Oreo
Oh.
Funfetti cupcake. So it's got the rainbow speckles, but with black. And then I think that was the first one.
Mm.
But that was
I
also
love-
like around the Christmas time. So I'd done this one Christmas colorway. I really wish that I had like taken a picture or of the full thing because it did so well, and I'm like, oh, it was so pretty. But I have no idea. Like, I don't know the colors. I don't know how I
Darn.
dyed it. And I'm just like, I understand the why you need to write stuff down or like take pictures of it so you can kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
yeah. So I'm like, oh,
I
well.
always struggled with that when I was dyeing yarn. Like, and for those of you out there who don't know, Andersmillknits was my yarn company, and it's very much defunct. You cannot find my yarn anywhere. And I will never do it again, at least for commercial dyeing, because I ended up actually hating the process of dyeing yarn. And I resented actually doing it. So that probably bled through into my later colorways because I noticed my color sense started to go downhill. So but anyway, what was always the hugest struggle for me was figuring out how to write down what I did so that I could replicate it a second time. I tried all kinds of things. I tried writing down the recipes and the ratios. I tried taking pictures and then putting the pictures on my computer and kind of like making notes about each section. Nothing ever worked for me. There was this one colorway, it was called granola, and everybody absolutely loved it. But after the first batch, it never looked the same.
Mhm.
And it always
And that
disappointed me.
happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time too.
Yeah.
I usually, there's exceptions, like with the Funfetti cupcakes, although you can tell there's a complete difference from the first ones I've done versus the ones now. And sometimes the colors, I'm like, no, I'm not feeling that color. I mean, the number, like I have so many different pink dyes, so many different reds, so because I have so many, I'm like, I'm not really feeling the one I normally use. So I'm going to do something different.
Exactly.
So I'm more of I like to think of them as they're more like, these are one of a kind. I can kind of recreate them, but a lot of times they're not exact. And I know that's a big thing because people are like, oh, but I want them to be the same so then I can like first start. And I'm like, even if I do like a sweater quantity, some of the speckles on some of them are going to be more than like in the same pan just because of the techniques that I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to remember when they're purchasing yarn from a hand dyer. This is not a machine that's creating this. This is someone's artistic skill and ability, and you need to have some understanding and awareness of that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, she graciously sent us some yarn that I am so excited about. Oh my goodness. I got Regal and Gray Lady.
Oh, so good.
Oh my gosh. And so good together, you guys. Like,
like perfect sauce.
Oh,
my sweater.
I was just going to ask you if that's what that was. Oh,
I forgot. I was going to mention that and be like, yeah, is Regal, but then the pink is one that I don't dye anymore.
This Regal, this is like the most perfect color dark denim jeans. Like seriously. Yes.
Yeah. Are you going to pair those together then, Steph, or what do you think?
Yeah. These will definitely go together. Yes. It's either going to be like a shawl or I don't know, something special because I am loving this.
Yeah.
These two, my favorite combination is these three.
Yes, I can see why.
That is so Stephanie. That is so you.
Right?
Oh
the dark
pinks too.
Oh, you're so sweet. The dark pinks, the grays, and the denim. That's so me. Oh.
Yep.
I mean, I have a sweater in this one too.
Oh, I believe it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
There's certain ones that I was like, oh, I love this. So this is one that I've recreated. I've been able to.
This is gorgeous. And this is called Gray Lady. Oh.
So that one's Gray Lady.
Yeah.
And is the other one literally dark denim? No. What's it called?
This is the Regal.
Okay.
Regal, yes. And then this
I
one
love
is
it.
Razzle.
That is gorgeous too.
What is it? What's that one called?
Razzle.
Oh. Yep.
I took it from 13 going on 30. They have those candies.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
And I got the most darling pin. I'm going the wrong way.
This is the best pin I've ever received.
Guys, the little sweater is sparkly that the sheep is knitting.
Yeah.
And that's the same yarn, like the colorway. It's supposed to be that.
I love it. There you go. Like, Emily's got a better picture. I absolutely love it.
But originally, that's what it was. It was gray with like speckles, the navy and the pink. But then I wanted glitter because I like sparkle.
Yeah.
And so
Yes, it's gorgeous.
And it's got this great back, this rubber back. So I was saving this, but as soon as we're done here, this is going on my new Stephanie bag. So I'm going to start putting my pins on this bag because I feel like the canvas is just perfect for it.
It is. I have one that I made for myself and same thing. I love putting them on there.
Bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, see, she flings hers out too. You know, have you made the bag yet for Jamie of Emily?
That is so funny. I sent swatches of the fabric to the gal that I order zippers from. And so hopefully this week they'll get back to me and I can start doing all the bags because they're fun.
Just so everybody knows, my Stephanie bag is very smoky from the campfire.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, I don't smoke.
No, but it's extremely
campfire smoky.
Yes. And then I never actually opened it. I'm gonna put myself on mute so you can't hear the crinkle.
Oh, we don't care. We love crinkle. It just means that there's good stuff, right?
Wait, have anyone established that? Like that people were annoyed by the crinkle? Like,
I feel like
no one actually, it doesn't bother people.
No, crinkle is like, something good's coming out.
Sometimes though, okay, I will say, sometimes though, I wonder on some of the shows if they're not doing extra crinkling just to be crinkly, if that makes sense. Because I'm just like, you don't really need to be moving the bag that much to get the yarn out.
Speaking of yarn, Miss Emily.
Yes.
What color did you get?
So mine, I got Sunset Lily, which is my absolute favorite that I see in her shop. I mean, this is screams Emily.
Right.
Like, cannot stop with the oranges, the hot. You guys see the? Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna get this. It's
gorgeous. Every hue in there is beautiful.
This is not working well. The blues. I mean, then there's black speckles on top of it to give it like a little drama.
It's gorgeous.
Yes. And then she sent along as a birthday present this colorway called Enough.
That's gorgeous.
And
That's
it is
really
just
pretty.
so Mr. Radio immediately said, you have to pair those together. They have to go together. And I was thinking color work. So immediately I'm like, that's not going to work.
No, I told her, I was like, throw some other things in there and put a fade together.
Yes. Yes. So I think, I don't know.
I told her I would shop her stash for her and tell her what colors to use.
Yeah. I need to update my stash. I haven't done it all summer. Oh my gosh, I just realized that.
Well, put them in there so I can personal color shop for you.
Yes. So
Is this
I
all
need
on
to do that.
Ravelry? Because I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, I do mine on Ravelry because I like that we can put in how much we paid for it for insurance purposes, and then we can export in an Excel file. Yeah. So, with all the world kind of in uproar, I was like, I kind of need the security because if anything happens, I don't care about the furniture. You just better dang well replace my yarn. I'm just saying.
Second that. Oh my gosh.
So I am extremely excited about these two. But I mean, come on, guys. Is that not
gorgeous?
Okay, hold up your denim. Let's see if we can't. I mean, not the denim, Regal. Put it see how well that goes? How dramatic that is? Uh-huh.
Yes, there she goes, right there.
Yes.
So
those two together. So that one, it would be enough, the colorway enough, and the colorway Regal.
Yeah, you guys really need to take a look because so many of the colors that she uses in the tonals, she's also used in the multi-tonal or colored. And yeah, like you were saying, all three of those, boom, boom, boom. How perfect would that be?
I mean, when I dyed it, I was specifically like, oh, I want to use these. So I mean, that was a few years ago at this point, and I'm like, but I loved it, and I loved. Obviously, I love certain colors.
Do you ever do kits like that? You'd say, oh, a 3-skein shawl, this, or.
So I used to do, what was that? The Comfort Shade cardigan.
Yes.
I did kits for that. But I mean, that was a while ago, and I haven't done it since. It kind of got to the point I was like, I don't really necessarily think I want to do kits just because then it's like, sometimes people are like, oh, well, it links to this pattern. And then, oh, well, are you selling the pattern too? And I'm like, oh.
Sure. And I mean, we get that. And sometimes you don't want the exact pattern that goes with the yarn and kind of all that kind of stuff. So I get that. But I could definitely see how your pairings of like 3 yarns together, it would just automatically draw my eye. Like, ooh, I could see that in a this or a that.
I was very much like, I'd go through and I'd be like, I don't have my brown right now. But I had like where I did these two, and then there was the same brown that I used in this, and I would do that. And I just love that. Since fall is coming, that's on my list of I will get to dye a tonal for the brown. I'm not really a brown person though.
But it goes with it so well.
But it goes with it. And so, right, like you can tell which colors are more my favorites.
Sure.
Which is how it goes.
Yeah.
But I try to do a bunch of different stuff so that there's stuff for everybody.
Well, and I like that too, because Emily and I have had the conversation before. Not everybody who knits or crochets is good with color choices. They may not know how to put color together well. And when dyers who know these colors inside and out, when they make those suggestions, it's really appreciated as someone who's buying that yarn.
Yeah. I mean, I still kind of do, but I'll try and like pair them. Because I'll go between 2 or 3 colors just because there are those 3 colored shawls.
Right.
But I know that a lot of people are too like, oh, well, we could do 2 color shawl. I'm like, that would be perfect. So, and then sometimes I'll do like pattern suggestions. Yeah. I get nothing for suggesting the patterns because. Right. I mean, right. I'm like, I'm not sponsored in any way to be suggesting the patterns, but I will suggest them.
Yeah. Well, and for you guys, we're all encouraging you to go look at Jen's shop for sure and do some damage because It's hard not to. But if you guys want some suggestions, I'm sure she would be happy to throw out a suggestion for you. Hey, these are really good together, or, you know, what have you. So
Yes. And so if you want to find Jen, she is the Perfect Stitch. Wait, the Perfect Stitch, or is it the Perfect Stitch Fiber on
The Perfect Stitch Fiber Co. on Instagram, TikTok, and my website is www.theperfectstitch.
I love it with the little sheep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd actually painted, like, I did a watercolor of the sheep. So that's where my whole logo came from. Well, so originally, so Emily has the tape measure, and that had my original logo. So that was originally way back when in 2016. And then I decided I wanted to update it. And so I did a watercolor of a sheep, and then it kind of morphed into my logo.
Oh my gosh, you need to have those printed on note cards for people to use as like thank you cards and sell those in your shop. Oh my gosh, how many times as knitters, I get a gift from somebody and it's another knitter or crafter. How cute would that be as a note card?
Well, and I agree, because I was actually, I run into that all the time. I'm sure I can just go on Etsy and find it, but I never think of it. And then and then in the moment when I'm sending the package, I'm like, I don't have anything fibery as a card. Like, this
So
kind
when
of
you
feels
guys go
silly.
to Jen's shop and you buy your yarn, just put a whole thing of cards in your cart and you'll be just fine.
I got to work on
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I know, because I'd even considered something like that. Like, I was going to do a stamp so that I could stamp for my thank yous. But then the amount of work, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, just having a thank you card is just going to have to be.
Oh my gosh, a little pack of like 5 or 10 would be darling.
Well, talk to me afterwards about this, Jen, if you want to, because I don't know if you know this, but my family owned Alaska Printing for over 50 years. My dad just sold it last year, and I was the operations manager for it for a decade, so I can give you some
all about
in the
that.
paper biz.
Yep. Now, it has been about 10 years since I did that, so
Yeah, but it's probably like riding a bike.
it is. Like, I had the new owner do our wedding invitations, and I designed them and everything and sent them, and brought them over. And it's so funny, because as soon as I walked into the print shop, I'm like, I smelled the ink and the presses and the oil and the paper, and I'm like,
Good
I'm
memories.
home. Yes. And it was so fun, because, some of the employees are still there from 10 years ago when I worked there. And so we had a lot of fun catching up and everything. But anyway, so like, okay, so so originally when I was first going to dye yarn, I was going to be called Inked Knits.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, no, everybody's going to think that you do tattoos, which of course, I'm totally tatted up. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I didn't even put the 2 and 2 together.
But so this was my very first. I don't even know why this is on my desk. And then
that's random.
And then I totally did a really weird. I can't even show you.
Oh, I know.
So it's not the greatest. I
cute.
made it better over time, but anyway. So I used to do logos all the time. I liked creating logos, but I haven't done that in so long. So it was really fun to dip my fingers back into design with the wedding invitation. So I liked that. It was fun.
All that to say, you need to go look at some yarn.
Yeah.
Y'all need to get over to Jen's shop and oh my gosh, you guys, gorgeous.
Just everybody go buy it, because you're not going to regret it. Okay.
No. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We so appreciate all that you're doing over there, and stay safe with all the fires and the heat and all that craziness.
Thank you. You want to
Yes.
Yes, you want to say, we'll say bye.
Bye.
No, say bye to us. Oh, hi. Bye.
Thanks,
Right.
Jen. We'll talk soon.
Say bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Oh,
She
I
was
removed
so
her.
sweet. She was so sweet, you guys. Oh my
And the
goodness.
boys, oh my gosh, the boys are
Yes.
just like, we need mommy now. We
I
don't.
know how that is. It's a mom thing. It just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. She was
Well,
so awesome.
so we had so much fun talking to her that we don't have technically enough time to talk about, and which I'm totally fine with,
Yeah.
talking about our projects, but we do want to talk about one thing.
Yes, please, drum roll.
Our Granite State yarn colorway.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
It's called Treasured Friends, and the mini is raspberry.
And this was after logoed after our logo, I guess you could say.
Yes, you see our logo right above Steph's head.
Right
So
in the
that's
corner.
what she did.
Oh my gosh.
And then she said she tried to do a little bit of a gray whitewash or something
Yeah,
like
she
that.
said she tried to do like an over gray whitewash on all of this. So you'll see like a gray hue to everything, and then the pops of gold and the pops of pink. So I know there are several other people that purchased this colorway as well, some frenzies of ours. So we need to do in September or something. We need to do, because guys, August is here. Like, it's here. So we need to do something in September. I'm thinking a Granite State yarn knit along. It doesn't have to be this color, but
Okay, so well, Jen is still in the room, sort of. She can still hear us. So, Jen, how would you like to do? Okay, I'm gonna bring her back on. Hold on.
Is she?
On. Jen, do you want to do
leave,
a
and then I
colorway?
was like, I don't want to leave because then I'll have to go and watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
That's so funny.
do you want to do a colorway for September? I
Oh
mean, I'm just gonna, and then I'll contact Jamie, and I'll
You're
contact.
terrible. You're terrible.
Oh my gosh.
No.
No.
I don't
Okay,
know.
you don't have.
Because we're back to school. I'm like,
Yes.
as much
You don't
fun
have
as that would be, I'm like, oh, there's so much that has to happen.
Yes.
I am totally with you. I just was just like,
Kids
you know
getting
what?
back
In
to
for a
school.
penny, in for a pound. I'm gonna totally hit her
And
up.
my youngest is going to preschool, and so
Yay!
which is good. Then I'll have time.
Oh. Yeah, we're
Yes.
kindergarten and first grade and third grade this year.
So they're gonna do full days?
Preschool.
Wow. That's
But yeah.
amazing. But anyway, so, I was just gonna, you don't have to do it. So guys, she's probably not gonna do it. So don't go asking her to do it.
I will just ask, are you going to have Christmas colorways?
I usually do. So
It's so hard to think that far ahead.
No,
I don't know how you guys do it.
I mean, but like I do different kind of Christmas colorways. So like I did the Nutcracker, which is like one of my all-time favorites. And so like I have the Sugar Plum Fairy, I have the Nutcracker print, the Rat King. And
oh my!
Do you do these on mini skeins or are these all full-size skeins?
They're all full size. Mini skeins are really hard to come by right now too.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So back in the day when I was dyeing yarn, I had to create my own minis. I mean, I couldn't purchase packs.
I've done that. I don't.
That's a lot.
No.
Yeah, that's a lot. Oh my gosh.
But okay, so be looking. So do you know when you're going to be putting out your Christmas colorways? No pressure. No pressure. Okay.
If everyone subscribes to her Instagram, you'll see them.
Yes. Okay.
This is
okay.
True.
So now we'll let her rest now that I brought her back and bombarded her. Thanks for coming back again. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that is funny.
We're okay. We're like yarn pimps. Guys,
I love supporting people that have beautiful creativity. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with being a yarn pimp. And please don't be offended by that. I'm making a joke, but it feels like that because I'm just
I
wanting
know.
all this goodness.
It is. It's been a good day, guys. We've had a lot of fun today. And next time, I think it's just me and Em. We're just going to go through some whips next time. We're going to go through what we're working on. And we just want you guys to come join us. We are considering in the fall doing a pajama party knitting Zoom.
Yes.
So we don't know quite the details with that yet, but we're going to look into doing that. But we would love to invite you guys to come. And I think it'll probably be a weekend so that most people can do it together. And we'll just pick like maybe an hour to 2 hour window. You come in when you want to come in, whatnot. Come in your PJs, bring some coffee, tea, whatever you want to do, and just come knit. And we want everyone to put a name to a face in our community and to say, oh, I know that person on Instagram, or I chat with that person, and let's take it one step further.
Yeah. And this is not going to be recorded for our channel. This is literally just for us to gather together, and it'll probably be in mid to late October.
Yeah, we're thinking into the fall for sure.
Yeah. And so it'll definitely be, so you could get your are the chai or the pumpkin spice lattes going to be out by then?
Oh, yes. Or a chai tea if you're you and me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I bought some whole milk yesterday so that I could make myself a iced chai tea latte. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's funny because I have a recipe to make the chai concentrate. So I should jar it and send it to you in the mail.
Yes, please. Yes, please. It's got to be better, way better than the store-bought. So.
Well, and it's so much less sugar, but the spice is so much more, I don't want to say aromatic, but you can taste all the different things you add to it so much more.
Yes, please.
Will do.
Yeah. And then I have to get to work, but either this evening or early tomorrow morning, I will be recording my audio podcast, Little Cabin Knits, which you can find on all major streaming podcatchers. I couldn't think of the word. So, and this time it'll just be a normal podcast. It'll just be me and then talking about my knits, and then I'll have a mental health segment. I was thinking about talking about boundaries this time round because that seems to be coming up a lot for people. I'm noticing that. So talking about what are boundaries, how do you define them? How do you know that if you have them? How do you know if they're healthy or unhealthy, and all that kinds of stuff? So,
or social boundaries. When you're too close to me in the grocery store, I will let you know.
Yep. So that should be coming out by this weekend.
Awesome.
I just got to get
until next time, everybody.
Remember that
life happens
between knits and what?
Purls.
We never know. We really need to sit down and say who's saying what and when.
Until next time, remember, life happens
between knits and purls.
There we go.
We did it.
Bye,
Love
guys.
you
Have
all.
a great week.
You too. Bye, everyone.